Picture yourself going on a first date. You want to make a good impression, so you share things about yourself, but not too much. You don't want to scare them away because they're really cute. The other person asks you a question about your family, and you respond by telling them a few little facts about your family, as well as how much you love them. You notice that your date is looking everywhere but at you. When you finish, they acknowledge what you said by grunting. They then follow up with a question of whether you have any pets. This may or may not have actually happened to you. How do you feel about this person? Do you think they care about you or the things that you love? My guess is that this date will not turn into a second one. Listening is a complex process. Active listening is the most effective form of listening. As a student of marriage and family studies and an aspiring marriage and family therapist, listening is one of the major skills that I have learned as part of my coursework. I have taken several communication classes in which we have studied the art of listening. We all have a need to be listened to know that someone cares for us. By acquiring listening skills, we will be better friends. We will make more friends because someone who actively listens is someone who cares, and we will be able to coach others in the proper methods of listening. Active listening is the most effective form of listening. Active listening is difficult, and active listening is understanding. Active listening is difficult. There are 3 kinds of listening. The first kind is listening to simply hear the words that are being said without comprehending the meaning behind the words. Oftentimes when a couple argues and one of the two is no longer listening, they are usually engaged in this kind of listening. Not very effective. Then there is what Daniel Harris calls noisy listening, which is listening to a person providing noises of acknowledgement that one is listening, such as grunting or making some other type of noise to let the other person know that you're listening. This kind of listening does not prompt any kind of response, meaningful response. Active listening is the process of listening with the intent to understand, learn, and respond. Active listening is the best style. Active listening requires someone to model good listening behavior, establish a purpose for listening, and to prepare for listening. Active listening will allow users, according to Robin Campbell, to have improved mutual understanding and improves the depth of communication. Active listening is understanding. Ask clarifying questions. In order to understand another person, we must ask questions which will help us understand what they are saying. Restating what they have said and then asking if that is correct will help with understanding. We can also ask questions to help us more fully understand what the other person is telling us. We must also show empathy. To feel empathy towards another, one must have a care of or interest in another person. We must also get the full meaning of what the other person is saying. Elizabeth Hawkins, in her article Listening, shares an experience where a lady was given the opportunity to tell her story without interruption. This allowed her to have a bonding experience. Before we interrupt someone, we must ensure that we have obtained the full meaning of what they are saying. An active style of listening will help us understand each other and to have more meaningful interactions. These combined will build and strengthen relationships. A good listener will remember to do the following: ask clarifying questions, show empathy, and get the full meaning.